Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Transwest Truck Trailer RV of Frederick, Colorado. My name is Michaela. This morning we have a brand new 2025 Ciamrron Norstar, 3-horse, side load, full width rear tack, integrated pod, air ride, and a full Outlaw conversion up front with a 15.6 short wall. This one is really well optioned out. It is loaded, jam-packed with lots of cool stuff. I saw it hit the lot last week, I think, and I walked inside of it, and I actually made a reel on Instagram for this one if you guys have seen it. It's been popular. It is beautiful inside, so I was really excited to bring it to you guys this morning. Before we get to our trailer here in person, we do like to pull up our drawings and just go through those numbers with you guys together. So looking at our Ciamrron side, we are exactly 32 feet on the floor with this guy, 8'2" on the nose, puts you about 40 foot nose to tail, 8 foot wide. We are 7'10" tall with our integrated pod, but with your integrated, that does eat into your roof space in your stall area. So you're 7'3" inside your stall area. Keep that in mind. 2 foot rear tack on your short wall and a 15.6 short wall on your full Outlaw conversion. Taking a peek inside that 15.6 Outlaw conversion, you guys have a queen size mattress up in the nose, dual entry with that center entertainment. We've got a bar top, we've got a hydraulic slide out with the sofa sleeper, full kitchen, and a huge bathroom on this one with lots of fun colors in it. So if you guys have any questions, you want to run through this spec sheet together, reach out. I'd be glad to help you. My phone number is 303-918-6367. But let's take a look at this guy right here. I knew as soon as I opened this door that I was excited to see inside this one. It has beautiful shiplap on it, and then it's got this really pretty, like a dark blue turquoise with some bronze copper color in it. That immediately told me how excited I was to look inside of this trailer. It is beautiful. We do have your screen door, your rolling screen door right here. So if you guys are using your outdoor space right here, you'll have that to kind of block off, allow some fresh air in there, but not allow those bugs or those flies that come with your horses to get inside your LQ. Have our fold down step getting in and out. And then exterior outlets, of course, right here by your door, just to bring your electricity out here for you guys if you need that for any purpose. And then something we do have some customers add after the fact is another fold down step to act as a mud bench over here. We've done it after the fact. We've done it during the build process. If you guys are watching this to build an LQ, we can add that during your Ciamrron shell build, or our shop can do it here after the fact. If you like this one or another one on the lot, keep in mind, we can do that for you guys if you want that mud bench right there. And then exterior awning right here, electric, so push the button, this is gonna come out and get you over this outdoor living space right here, get you a little bit of shade cover. But we'll go ahead and step in. I keep talking about how pretty it is. We'll go ahead and jump in here and show you guys. So as we step in, I'll have you guys just come back here and we'll get a good look at this center entertainment right here. You're gonna have your large TV up here, a little bit of countertop down below, and you guys can do a lot of different configurations with this center entertainment. I've got some customers building right now. I just sent them a bunch of different options for what you can do with your cabinetry right here. I really do like this countertop option. I feel like it does kind of make this feel a little bit bigger right here. And I love that when you come in your door right here, you're always gonna have, I don't know, keys, purse, phone, wallet, something you're just gonna wanna toss right here. You guys have the option to toss it right here. If you guys want more cabinetry space, though, that's something that we can do is just carry all of this up and get you more built-in cabinets right here. We do have some cabinets up above. We're also gonna have a lot of our electricity and wires running through here. This trailer does have Starlink on board. I could get you guys pictures up top. We're not gonna come up on the roof today, but you will see a Starlink panel up there on top. So it's already wired, it's already up there, it's ready to go. You just need to get your subscription for that or transfer your account to this one. Down here, AM, FM radio, also does Bluetooth, auxiliary, HDMI, USB plugins. You're gonna have zones 1, 2, and 3 for up in your nose, your living space down here, and then your exterior speakers as well. You guys can control all those independently. So if you wanna turn some speakers on or off, you have the ability to do that right there. And then we do have this little cabinet right here, which you guys will see we've got all of our remotes in there. And that is the perfect little cubby hole right there for all of those remotes. That way you don't ever lose them, you don't misplace them, they don't go sliding off of your countertop right here and then they're forgotten. Especially this little guy right here. This is gonna be the remote for your fireplace. You guys can control it without the remote, but you do have to know where to touch. So down here, you have your power button right here, and that will show you all of your different settings and features to control the temperature, the color, that sort of thing. But you have to know where that power button is, because as you see, when you turn it off, there's nothing. There's no buttons, there's no light, no indicator. If you don't have that remote, you just have to know you have to touch somewhere in this corner to get that guy to turn back on. So something to point out right there, but also your remote, keep those in that little cabinet right there and you won't lose those. But that is electric fireplace. That is great to just get some heat in this trailer without running your propane. They work wonderfully. I've had a lot of customers add it in their builds, and a lot of trailers here on the lot sell really quickly because of that. It works phenomenally to just kind of burn off some of that real crisp, cold air in the mornings. And then you guys see we have a dual entrance up into the nose. So his and hers right here, either side. This has been really popular, so you're not having to climb over each other to get out the one side, especially if you have to get up in the middle of the night, either use the restroom, go check on your horses, let your dogs out, anything like that. You guys, now you can just each escape out your own side. And then they do have pocket doors with your matching shiplap on there. Each of them look the same, so you guys can close that off for privacy at night. Or if just during the day you're gonna have friends in here and you don't want them to see you haven't made your bed, something like that, you guys can block those off. Or you could just leave them open, and then they do lock into place for transit as well. So now they stay put right there. And then as you step up in, I just like to point out your steps also have a little bit of storage space in them. Outlaw truly does a phenomenal job of making sure there is storage anywhere and everywhere they possibly can inside their LQs. But I'll let you guys step up in there and take a peek. You guys can head up that side. You're gonna have your full queen size mattress up here. This is their Outlaw Flex mattress. Up front, you guys are gonna have a wardrobe and then those open shelves on each side. I love the open shelf concept, especially for like almost acting as your nightstand. You guys are charging your Apple Watches, your cell phones, just toss those in there. You're reading a book, your book would fit perfectly in there as well. Tablet. And then you have your cabinets right there to kind of block up some wardrobe storage. Each side is going to have outlets for charging capabilities. And then your passenger side, your right hand side over here also has a secondary gen start switch. So you guys can control your onboard generator from the comfort of your mattress up here. And then we do have our secondary TV in here as well. Another 32-inch guy on the back side of your center entertainment. So you have separate TV up here. As we're stepping back, we do have a hydraulic slide out on this trailer. And that is just something we've done moving forward because they do allow more flexibility and customizing the size and then having water on board of your slide. So right here we do have our 72-inch sofa sleeper, and we have our 60-gallon fresh water tank is right underneath this one. So having water on board is going to make it heavier. That's not an option with our electric slide outs. So moving forward, we've gone to these hydraulics to where we have the flexibility and the capabilities to throw the water on here and get it out from either having to do something different, maybe having to eliminate a fireplace over here because we needed water over here, something like that. This is giving us that flexibility. This also turns into your mattress, second sleeping area right here. Again, 72 inches. Try not to lose my mics like I like to do when I do this, but I'm 6 feet tall. Get asked that question all the time. So if you could, in a pinch, you could go side by side and do 2 adults comfortably here. Could definitely do multiple kids or one person. You see, I don't have to go full diagonal. I can fit pretty comfortably on this, being your 72-inch sofa sleeper. And then if you guys are looking at building, this is definitely customizable. If you want to add a little bit of length to your short wall, you can make these hydraulic slide outs bigger and add like a 76-inch sofa sleeper, whatever you guys want in this space. And then we've got windows all the way around. We do have day and night blinds on all of our windows. So right now you guys will see we've got it on the day blind, which still allows you guys to see out, brings in a little bit of light. But if you were sitting in here, maybe you want to be working off of your laptop or your computer screen, you don't want that harsh light, this day blind is perfect. You guys can also pop this open though. If you wanted to get some ventilation and open those windows, you can go no blinds and twist your windows open and get some air movement through there, get some fresh air coming through. Or you can go the full night blind, block out your fairgrounds lights, your neighbor's lights. get you a little bit more of a blackout. All of your windows do this, so even up in the nose, you guys have this option to really block that out. And then I do really like how Outlaw does such a great job of carrying their colors throughout. This is kind of what we saw on the door for your tooled leather, and then your same shiplap is on the back wall of your slide out here. Again, not like too overboard. You're not going to see that shiplap everywhere, just a little touch of it here, and then back to your soft touch walls everywhere else. Up above, we've got cabinetry. This is open to both sides, so there's not going to be a wall down the middle. You guys can get into either side right there, but always nice to have more cabinetry. I actually got to visit one of my customers a couple weeks ago at a horse show and saw him living out of his trailer for the weekend, and they said they really truly do utilize all the different spaces, and they found purposes for everything. So it's always fun to see how they get used and what creative ideas people come up with inside theirs for different storage purposes. We'll jump back over here in the kitchen. We do have your raised bar top as you step in the door. The bar stools are matching as well with this really pretty tooled leather, and then I do have them unclipped right now so you guys can see how I could bring them out. You guys can move these around, but down below around their legs they do have your buckle right here with a strap, so this will buckle the legs together up against that wall and keep them contained during transit there. And then your raised bar top, something I've seen in a couple different LQs as well, and if you guys do go through that build process, you don't have to do a raised bar top either. You can kind of just do where it carries the countertop across the same level and have just a smaller bar top seating right here, different countertop configurations, but you guys do have options. Something to keep in mind as you're working through that and looking at making something your own. But I think this is fun to just give you another seating area if you guys wanted to work remotely or eat at the bar right there, or if you're just going to use it as countertop space when you're cooking in here and then eating outside. Perfect transition counter right there. And then I do like to open all of our cabinetry during our videos. They're not open in our pictures. You guys can see where all the cabinets are, but you don't get to see all the space you get. So those two are opening to that same big space right there. Perfect for your pantry items, but you do have a large pantry on this one as well. You'll have storage up above your microwave as well. And then this microwave is your microwave convection oven. So this one will do both. And I actually just saw one of my coworkers' customers built a Freedom trailer, so it has the garage in the back. Instead of horses, you're going to do motorcycles or toys back there. And they actually did a huge microwave convection oven that also was an air fryer. So you guys can get pretty creative with these trailers. Down here we do have your day and night blinds right there over your window behind your kitchen. You guys can also, if you just didn't want a window there, you wanted to carry your backsplash, that's an option too. These are not set in stone packages. You truly can make these Outlaws your own. Beautiful sink right here. Really nice and deep and a good size. You're not using up too much countertop space, but you still get a lot of depth right there to be washing dishes off. And then your super adjustable sink faucet as well. I've got one like that at my house and I love it. Over here, recessed cooktop, so you are gaining a lot of extra countertop space right here. Recessed, so it's down in here. You've got two cooktop burners right here. This is something I've had a customer delete on their trailer moving forward. They just don't use it, never going to use it, wanted the countertop space instead, and wanted to just maybe shrink their kitchen a little bit and get more living space. That's always an option. And then coming down here, we always have our 3 drawers in our kitchen. These are great size drawers. They get bigger as you go, and they're really deep this way as well. This second drawer is going to contain your Outlaw binder. You guys can move this wherever you want, but this is going to have all kinds of information in there, as well as guides to winterizing and de-winterizing, but jam-packed full of info for your Outlaw warranty handbook. And then they also do have 24/7 customer tech support. So if you ever have questions, you can call Outlaw 24/7 for troubleshooting. Huge drawer down here. I'll show you guys under the sink before we get to our pantry. There's access to your water systems right here. And then I mentioned your pantry. You have a huge pantry over here with adjustable shelves, so you guys can change the heights of these if you wanted to space them out for taller items, shrink some together for smaller items. Tons of versatility right there. And then down below, you're going to have your slide out trash can. So really well set up kitchen, lots of space inside of this one. over here on this wall, a couple items to point out. This is going to be your propane valve right here. So, okay, your green light right here just tells you that all of your systems are good. You can push the check right here to kind of run through, and it will take you through all of that and just double check everything's good. You don't have any leaks. You're not going to have propane coming into your trailer. Right now, you cannot use your propane because your valve is not open. So even if you go up front and turn your valves open on your propane tanks, you're still not going to have propane in your trailer. This is just a safety feature, and I love this being a safety feature because just because those are on doesn't mean your propane's getting back here. So what you guys need to do is hold down this button until your valve opens. So now you have opened your valve and you're asking propane to come in for either your cooktop, your furnace, your fridge, and then you guys can also turn it back off from right here as well. Down below, we've got our thermostat right here. This just takes you through your AC and your furnace options right here, temperature control, and then down here, your panel to check tank levels as well as your battery level, water pump, and water heater controls right here. Back over here, we've got a 6.0 fridge freezer combination. So you guys can see still really good space. It's much bigger than a dorm size fridge. You're still gonna get a lot of room inside of here. This does work off of propane or electricity. You guys have options to change that control right there. We've got a little bit of storage up top because we are 710 in this LQ. So we've got kind of extra space to work with right there. And then down below we have our furnace, which is why we could not get the 8.0 fridge freezer combination in this guy. There just wasn't a good spot for your furnace. So again, keep that in mind throughout the build process, as we do need to kind of locate these items like we talked about with the water, where they're gonna work best. So if you're looking for that 8.0 fridge freezer combination, we'd have to look at different options, such as maybe your closet to locate that. Stepping back into our bathroom, you guys are gonna notice we've painted everything in this one white. So as you step in, it feels really bright, really big. I think that's a nice, fun change that we've done in here. It really opens up the space, but also this is just a big bathroom. So we'll run you guys all the way around and check out all of your storage options. So right here is your linen closet. Again, like you saw in your pantry, fully adjustable shelves. You guys can space those out however you need to. That one's huge right there. Over here, kind of snuck in another little cabinet right there for all of your smaller toiletry items. Never bad to have too much storage. Over here behind your medicine cabinet, your vanity right here, huge space. This one actually does go down and around the corner into that other space. So huge. You guys have lots of options right there for all your smaller items, and those are pretty tall. So I could for sure see shampoo and conditioner bottles in there as well. Vessel sink down here, so stands up on top of your countertop. These have been really popular. Same countertop and backsplash that we saw in our kitchen, so carrying our colors back in here, even though we did painted white on our wood. And then down below, looks like you've got access to drain valves. Everything is labeled in your Outlaw, which makes life so much better. Both of these access the same space, so huge storage under there, perfect for maybe your toilet paper. Walk-through door on this one. This is really popular for people wanting extra storage in their stud wall. Maybe they don't ever plan to haul 3 horses, just 2. They want to use that front stall for storage. They're going to add some hooks on either side of the walk-through to hang their coats and jackets. This is just giving you access right into your stall area, which we'll check out when we get to our Cimarron shell as well. But you have that, and if you don't need it, you don't have to open this door either. Over here, we've got your double rod hanging closet. So huge wardrobe closet. You guys can see I could get all the way in here if I wanted to. So 2 rods hanging, and then down below you guys are going to see we have this carpeted base right here, and then that is where you're going to screw in your table. So you'll have this movable table right here that's on this carpeted base. So up front we've got our sofa sleeper. This is perfect if you did want to eat off of your sofa sleeper, or we talked about working remotely. If you guys need that option, you guys can screw your table right into this base. And then again, the bottom is carpeted, so you guys can slide it wherever you need to within your living space and not worry about scratching or dinging your floors that way. Over here, we did a toilet, matching again with our tooled leather and our white painted right there. Got some nice open shelves behind it. Another good spot for toilet paper if you wanted that back there, or maybe some towels back there. And then a little bit of a countertop space right here. Up above, more cabinetry. So lots and lots of storage inside this bathroom. And then we have a 32-inch shower over here. You guys can see kind of our wall, bathroom wall, kind of duck down to the kitchen right there. So it got us a nice deep shower back in here. And your removable shower head. So you guys, same as our kitchen sink, how you can kind of move that faucet around. You guys have that here as well. We are 7'10" tall, so still without the skylight, there's tons of head clearance in this one. We see some that are 7'7", get you a little bit shorter here, but you're 7'10" plus a skylight. I can kind of reach the top right there. Tons of space. I'm 6 feet tall. You guys can wash off in here pretty easily. If you are wanting a larger shower space, you want to go with that build process, you guys can, oh boy, turned it on. So not winterized, you guys. This one still has water on it that time of year. These are ready to go for you guys. But again, if you wanted to move the shower, as we're talking about, you want to go through the builds and relocate it back in another corner to get the seat within that shower, that's always an option. But as you've seen, really good size shower right there. As we work our way back out, you guys can check out, again, the really pretty colors in this one. I like this one a lot. And then our control panel as we leave. So we do have the Onan 4.0 gas generator on board. This switch right here does not control the generator, just controls that fuel gauge right there. You guys can see how many hours we have right here, and then your start and stop right here. Don't have it running right now, but I had it running earlier, so you guys can get power that way, or shore power. This one's 30 amp service. Down here, hydraulic room slide out, as I mentioned, extend and retract right here. The key is just required. That pretty much always stays in there, but control that right there. The awning, I said, was electric, push of a button. That's gonna be right there. And then all of your light switches are labeled. Again, I mentioned everything in Outlaw is labeled. They do a great job with that. All those are controlled right there. And then we're gonna step out, and I'm gonna have you peek right back in real quick because I do wanna show you guys the location of your battery disconnect switch, which we used to see underneath the nose, kind of in our battery box. So now we've got it inside of our LQ. So what they did on this one was they located it right here, kind of behind that screen. Also, what you're gonna see in here, I'm gonna sneak in here and show you guys, pop that real quick, are your breakers. Also, very well labeled, but kind of just a good spot to know where you'll have your disconnect and have your breaker switches right there. So if you wanna keep an eye on something, see if you popped a breaker, that's where those are. And if you're done for the day, you don't know if you left on a light switch, you're headed to town, you can kill your battery, flip a switch just like that. So that was a 15.6 full Outlaw conversion, not your ProLine package. You're getting 3-year warranties on everything inside of there. Working our way back down our Cimarron trailer here, on our tail side, we did do drop down windows on this side right here. Standard, you're just gonna get those sliding bus windows. Opted for the drop downs just to get some more airflow through there. They do have your sliding bus window built in, so if you ever just didn't want this much ventilation or this much airflow, you don't have to drop it down. You can still work your sliding bus window right there and do that. 8 foot wide, 32 feet on the floor. We went ahead and did those amber turn signals. So you have that indicator on both sides. And I mentioned air ride. This trailer is on air ride axles. I've got it aired up right now. So we're getting about 4 inches when we turn on that air ride. When you turn off your air ride, this will drop back down about 4 inches and it will set back down on rubber torsion axles. So I know that's kind of like the stigma or the fear behind air ride axles is if something were to ever go wrong, you are stranded. That's not the case anymore. If anything does go wrong, this will set back down on those rubber torsion axles. You can get to where you're going, get it back in the shop when you have time. You will not be stranded on the side of the highway with your horses on board. But you do have that air ride system. It is fully on board, has its own onboard compressor, and it's auto leveling. So when you do load and unload, you guys will hear that compressor turn on if it needs more air. This has been very, very popular in our horse trailer world, as well as our show cattle, show livestock world. Those guys travel on the air ride. And I've heard it time and time again, once you have air ride, you won't go back. It's been a game changer for the show livestock as well as the horses, of just being able to step off the trailer, not be drawn up, not be stoved up in their legs. They're ready to go horse show, rodeo, show for livestock, for cattle, that sort of thing. They're eating, they're drinking, they're happy. Just a lot less wear and tear on your horses that way with that air ride system. I've also heard about these side loads and the full width rear tacks. I've owned one myself. that once you have that full width through tack, you won't go back because of how much space you get with that. So wait till we get back there to check that out. Right here, you guys are looking at our side load entrance and then our 2-foot short wall of our rear tack. As we step up in here, I want to point out the flooring in this one. Upgraded to Werm flooring. So Werm is W-E-R-M. There's no sticker emblem in this one, but it stands for We Eliminate Rubber Mats. So what this is doing back here for you guys is it is fully seamless. You're not going to have those rubber mats that you need to pull up and clean out from under. Your horses are not going to paw and pull up that rubber mat and get shavings under there. This is protecting your aluminum floor on this Cimarron. It's also adding a cushion factor, also adding an insulating factor, and then seamless, non-porous. So nothing is getting through this flooring. You're not going to have any urine get down there and eat away at your aluminum floor. And also convenience. Once a year, you're not having to pull up all those mats, sweep it out, power wash it out, let it dry, and throw all those back in because that's a hassle. All you got to do with this one is just power wash it out every once in a while, give it a good clean, and then throw your shavings back in here. We'll go ahead and work our way all the way up to the front and then go backwards. So in our Ciamrron Norstar trailers, so any of our horse trailers, all of your walls come lined and insulated. That's just standard in their Norstar model. You'll see that everywhere up above your kick mats, and then you have your kick mats down below. And then you can't see it because of your integrated pod. You have your lined and insulated below your ceiling, but on all of our Ciamrron trailers, and you would see if you climbed up on top and looked, they have an insulated roof standard. So down here, insulating, giving you an R3 thermal value, keeps it cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. But up top, it's the exact same material, and what it's doing for you up there is it's dent resistant up to a baseball size hail. When I deliver these LQs, I always like to climb up there and walk up and down and just check on everything as well. You can do that and not have to worry about where your roof bows are and where you need to step. You can just walk anywhere up and down wherever you want without any issues. So it adds a lot of structural integrity to these Cimarrons. Right here is your pass-through into your bathroom. We saw that when we were in our bathroom. If you wanted that access in and out, you're soaking wet, covered in mud, and you want to get right into the shower, this is going to be a lot cleaner entrance than having to walk all the way through your LQ. But with this escape door, we do have the manger built in, so you're not going to be able to come in here and lock it behind you. You're going to have it, it will shut. So you guys can see it does still shut behind you, just doesn't lock from in here. But it will stay shut, and now you have a manger on all 3 of your stalls. Front divider is a stud divider, so this one's going to go full to the floor. So if you were using this space up here for storage, I've stuck a bunch of like Rubbermaid tubs and stuff up in here. They're not going to slide out and get to your horses over here. All of our dividers are padded, so getting your horses a little bit more comfortable with that padding. I know I don't have it in mine. I'm sure my horses would like it though, because I do, when I unload them, I see that they've been leaning on them because they have the black streaks of the aluminum. You're not going to have that with this padding right here. And then we've also done the bar type. So your airflow dividers over on our dividers, as well as our head grills, which are what we call the part that's in between the mangers by your horse's heads. Those are the head grill. This is the divider. You guys can interchange those if you want to. If you're going through the build and you just want all of this solid, you can make this solid and keep those airflow. You can flip-flop, can mix and match between your dividers. Again, full custom, you guys can do whatever you want, but the bar type is just allowing for more air movement throughout this trailer. And then we do have mangers on 2 and 3 as well. And even though you have mangers, you're still going to get 2 tie rings per stall. I love the flexibility and the versatility of the 2 tie rings. Just being able to tie my horse up on either one, tie a hay net or a hay bag on either one, and then also feed them or water them out of the manger and have the ability to tie to the head grills as well. And then this divider back here is kind of a unique one. So this one's called their breakover divider. You guys can see right now we do have it kind of like broken in half, right? So you guys can see that's giving you a huge entrance into your stall area right here. You have horses that are uncertain, unsure, haven't done a side load before, they're backing out and they're a little bit scared. You guys can open this and give them the ability to kind of work through it and give them more space. If you did have horses that are super broke and they're not concerned by that, they don't need that much space, you guys will see even when you push this divider, make it back solid with your AR latches right there, it's still going to give you enough clearance to get in and out of this stall area. It's not like you have to do this, but again, if you had your horses that were unsure It's really easy, no tools required. You can just break that in half, open that up, and get them in and out much easier. And then while we're talking about accessibility right here, I want to point out the wheel wells on this trailer. We are on 8,000-pound Dexter Airflex axles, so you're not taking up a huge amount of space into this stall area. You guys can see it's pretty narrow, it's not huge. When we do get longer trailers, we do like to stay with our 8Ks and jump up to a triple axle instead of jumping up to 2 9s, because the 9Ks take up an additional 4 inches of space. So they're going to cut out 4 more inches into this stall area. So if you think about that, when you're thinking about wanting to not get into the triple axle trailer because maybe you don't want to deal with 6 tires, maybe you are scared of the wear and tear and the tweaking you get when you have the triple axle, don't keep in mind the effect that the 9Ks have into your stall area right here, and reconsider the triple option, especially when you do build here through Transwest, because when we do a triple air ride, we actually add an air dump on our front axle, which will help with that tweaking and the wearing and tearing when you do those real tight turns. So something to keep in mind if you're looking at building a trailer. But before we step out, I want to point out those OptiBrite LEDs up there. We do have 1 over each stall. Those are very, very bright. They put off a lot of light into the stall area. That's going to give you guys your visibility in here. And then we do have exterior lights as well. We're going to have a 16-inch on the exterior right here over the side ramp, giving your horses a real good look about what they're climbing up and then where they're going inside right there. We'll step around to this full rear tack back here. So we just did 1 single door, centered it, and then kind of tweaked the inside to fit additional shelves and storage space behind in our solid walls right there. You guys, if you're building a trailer and you're looking here on the lot, we have several different setups of these rear tacks right now. We've got options like this with the centered door. We've got options with 2 double doors back here that have multiple saddle racks, different shelving capabilities back there. And then we've got one with a ramp back here, and then we have one with like a side tack door over there and access back here. We've got all different kinds of configurations. So keep in mind, this is a great one though. You're gonna have your blanket bars on the door. They are on that gas shock, so these do bump out right there. Makes it real easy if you are unsaddling, especially because I know when you unsaddle your horse, at least for me, I can never get my pad to stay up there when I'm pulling my saddle off. They all come together. So now you've unsaddled, you've got everything in your hands. All you have to do is come right here to this space and you'll be able to throw your pad on there, throw your saddle on here, and be back to being hands-free. You don't ever have to let anything hit the ground while you're trying to put everything away. That's just on a gas shock, so that will keep itself closed right there. You do have your sliding bus window right there on the door to get you ventilation in this tack room. These Cimarrons are very airtight, so I always recommend, especially if you've put away some wet saddle pads right here, crack a window and just get some airflow moving behind those pads right there. Full carpet on our door to match the full carpet of the rest of the rear tack. And then down here we've got our brush tray. It's got 3 different compartments in there. It's got drain holes at the bottom, so if you did spill something in there, they're very easy to wash out. But I love this space for all of my smaller items, stuff that will either get lost on the shelves in there, lost on the floor. Your brushes are a great spot for your brush tray. Kind of eliminates the need for like a grooming tote, that sort of thing. I've got all my brushes in there and about a million more things. Your hose right here, 10-foot hose. So you have a 48-gallon water tank in your rear tack, which we'll check out. But this is gonna be the hose to run that water outside of your rear tack. Perfect length right there to either get out here and fill buckets, wash boots off, or even rinse off your horses. They're just gravity-fed tanks, but they do work really well. I've got one in my Ciamrron, and it's been wonderful to have water in front of my horses when I need to and not have to hoof it across the entire fairgrounds parking lot carrying water buckets. So right here you've got 3 saddle racks on your swing out post. There is room right here to add another. If you guys did want another one, we sell them here in our parts department. We can easily add one for you guys. These are fully adjustable as well, so you can slide these up and down anywhere on this track. If you did want to space them out some more, like my barrel saddle horn would probably be a little bit too close right here, but that's the great part about these is that you can space them out how you need to. If you've got English saddles and you want to throw 2 more on here and really kind of squish them together, you can definitely do that as well. And then we do have your folding step. Getting in and out of this is gonna make your life so much easier when you are climbing in and out versus just having the step right there. You guys can also do a ramp. We've got one customer that does use the space for like a motorcycle or like a motorized bike to get across the fairgrounds. It's real easy for him to just roll it up that ramp versus trying to fight a fold down step getting in here. And then the floor in this space is our gray rubber tread flooring. I love this upgrade for flooring. My tack room on my Ciamrron is standard with carpet. I don't really love the carpet. It's fine, it's easy to clean because it is this real nice shallow carpeting, but also it gets wet from your muddy boots and then it takes a little bit to dry out. You guys can step up to black rubber mats, and then an upgrade from there is this seamless gray rubber tread flooring. You guys can see seamless meaning it is cut to fit and then sealed up on their seams right here. So if you did roll your motorized cart up in here, you're stepping in here with muddy boots after a rain run, something like that, this is gonna be real easy to sweep it out or let the water sit on here and dry out as you drive down the road, and then just sweep it out with a broom at your next stop. Over on this wall, we've got 3 different shelves we've got in here. They're gonna be just like your shelves that you see in your RTGs. So they're gonna have your 2-inch lip to hold stuff in there, and then the black rubber mat inside of there to just keep your shelf clean, keep your items clean, and then whatever you do set in here, of course, doesn't fall out with that lip. But 3 different shelves right there, so tons of good storage space for small items. Great spot for maybe your bell boots and your sport boots to throw kind of those up there. I know I've got mine in like carrying bags. You could still easily throw those bags up there and be able to kind of reach in and see what you have. That's perfect for that. Full carpet, so all of this is carpet, your partition wall right here, and we did 2 rows of bridle hooks because I know in mine I filled my bridle hooks up very quickly, and I've got 2 rows like this. So you can never have too many of these hooks. We do space them out pretty well to where when you do hang your headstalls and your reins right here, they're not overlapping too badly. You can still access all of your bridles this way. And then great spot for extra headstalls, reins, tie downs, all that sort of stuff right there. Over here in our corner, you guys can see this little cutout right here, carpeted. It's finished really nice. This is actually your fuel tank for your generator. Outlaw installs it, and then they finish it off really nice to kind of match what Ciamrron does with your carpet and your rear tack right here. So you're not really missing this space. This is 15 gallons. So you have 15 gallons of regular gas for your own Inforo gas generator that's up on your roof. So these are just your fuel lines to pump that fuel up there. And then we did another shelf over here, kind of just again using all of the space and not leaving any dead space, giving you the more storage the better inside of these tack rooms. And then over here, there's that 48-gallon water tank. It's half moon, so it's flat backed, round front, fills at the top. And then you've got 2 spigots down below if you want to just fill some buckets with that higher one, and then the lower one perfect for your hose to just run that right out your door right there, rinse your horses off and fill water buckets right there. And then going up top, we've got 2 of those OptiBrights in here as well. So this is really going to light up your tack room back here. We've got additional lights outside as well, but having these 2 big OptiBrights in here is going to be tons of light. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Yep, so we've got 1 pedestal on each side. That's going to give you guys the visibility out here. Shines way down back here off of this. Up there, while we're up there, you guys can see your gen box. It's got the venting sides right there, and then your exhaust pipe. And then you also have that gate right there that opens up. So when you are using your tractor bucket and you're loading hay, you guys can open that gate, set your tractor bucket right up there, and be able to get those hay bales onto that deck right there and then into your pod. You guys will see we did line that whole deck with that tread bright. That's just going to really protect your trailer. I just talked about tractor buckets being up there, so you're throwing all of your equipment. You're throwing your hay up there, grain, bags of shavings. I know I used to keep like lawn chairs up there in mine, all kinds of stuff. That's just a great landing space right there, and good to keep it protected. You've also got an OptiBright up there. And then what we've done for some customers is we've added some tie rings or some airliner track up there. If you did want to strap down like your wheelbarrow or something up there, that's been pretty popular. If you wanted to kind of use that deck space for more storage, that's an option. One more option while we're talking about things that our shop can add: stall fans and stall cameras. So we can add those 12-volt fans in your stall area if you want some more airflow movement, and then cameras. Stall area, of course, you guys can see your horses going down the road. Another option would be right here at the rear as a reverse camera. Those two have been very popular. You could easily get away with one camera in a 3-horse slant load and then have your second camera back here as your reverse camera. Our shop is excellent at those. They do work off of your marker lights. So as long as you have your running lights turned on in your truck, you've got a monitor that mounts in your cup holder, and you guys can always see your horses or your rear view if you want to see people that are following too closely behind you as well. Easy angle ladder to get up there onto your deck. You guys will see it does slide out. It makes life so much easier climbing up at an angle. I know I took some customers through the LQs on Saturday, and I had it still closed, and he was about to go climbing straight up, and I was like, wait, watch this. And I unhooked it and slid it down like this, and he thought that was very, very smart. It's so much easier than having to climb straight up and down and kind of hang on for dear life as you get up there. And they're really easy to use as well. You can just do it with one hand. They work really easily. And it does set back down on its little shelf right here. Also locks in to this butterfly latch right here, keyed the same as the rest of your trailer. So you guys can actually lock this little paddle latch right here and never have to worry about that popping out and dragging down the road behind you. So a good safety feature right there. We've got light switches on our left-hand rear post as well as our right-hand rear post. So we've got some here that will control your left-hand lights over your tie rings, your pedestal lights, your tack room lights, and then our rear post is going to control our stall lights and our right-hand tie lights over there. All of your tail lights do have these white X's built in for your reverse lights. So we're going to have 2 on each side right here. You guys can always add more as well if there were space to do some up top or an additional one on the side. That's something we can add in the build process if you want more. But 4 is standard, and having them built into each of your taillights really puts off a lot of light back here as your reverse. But we'll go ahead and step around this side. I pointed out our 15-gallon fuel tank. This is going to be your exterior fill right here. Super easy if you're pulling through, fueling up your truck. Fuel up your fuel right there for your generator, and that's just going to pump itself up there to that generator. On our head side, we do have drop downs over here, but being on the head side, you're going to have those jail bars. Jail bars just so that your horses do keep their heads in traveling down the road. But if you're stopped, again, fueling up and you want to let them stretch their heads out, get a good stretch, and before you get in back on the road, if you want to be able to offer them some more food, set a water bucket in their manger. These are really easy to drop those jail bars down and get in there and access your horses that way. They're full one piece, no moving parts right there, so all you're doing is working your drop down window to get those back shut. And then your drop downs, if you didn't want that much airflow, it was still pretty cold outside, you still have your bus window just like your tail side to just open those up. Down below, we did have mangers on all 3 stalls, so you'll have your manger door access on all 3 stalls. And upgraded this one, we did do that same gray rubber tread flooring back there on that wall behind those bridle hooks. So when you are hanging stuff on those bridle hooks right there, whether it be maybe some extra halters, your shore power cord for your LQ, maybe some buckets you're going to set in there, some grain bags, that gray rubber is really just going to protect that wall right there, prevent those black streaks, protect the equipment that you load on this trailer, and maintain that resale value for you. Our escape door also had a manger built in, so you still have access to that right there. Perfect smaller storage spot right there. Never have too much storage, so the more you can get, the better. And then your escape door does open from out here as well. If you were using this space for storage, you wanted to load some hay and some grain or some bag shavings in there instead, you got access, and we did do a fold down step to climb in and out of there. Working our way forwards back to our LQ side of things, we have our shore power right here. I've plugged that in for the video as well. This is 30 amp service because you just have your 1 AC on this guy. City water connection, so if you are somewhere with full hookups, you've got your shore power and then you've got your on-demand water right there. Got an exterior water spigot. That is going to drain from your house water though, so that's why we have the 48 gallons in the rear tack for your horse water. This is going to be fresh water from your LQ. Backside venting of your furnace right here. This is the back of your hydraulic slide out. Only thing you're going to find right here is the fill for your fresh water. So the fresh water, 60 gallons, was under your sofa sleeper. That's right here. So this is direct fill straight into that tank. Back up front, we've got 2 oversized of the 30-pound propane tanks on this one. Full size matching spare tire. We did the big Continentals. These are load range J's on the ground, as well as your spare right here. And then dual legs. So these are electric over hydraulic jacks right here. I love the equalizer jacks because they do have a manual override option. You're never gonna get stranded with these ones, and you can also work them independently. So your controls are up here for that. You can work them together at the same time, but there's 2 buttons. So you guys can work those independently and get you a really good level sleeping area. This one was also electric over hydraulic disc brakes. So your hydraulic fluid reservoir is right there. This is gonna be the hydraulic pump for your hydraulic slide out room behind a nice locking aluminum battery box. Good to keep it protected from the elements right there. Another aluminum battery box that also locks is right here. So you're gonna have 2 batteries for your house. 3rd battery because we do have air ride on this trailer, as well as your RedArc chargers right here to help keep these batteries topped off and maintained for you. Trickle charges off your 7-pin. Also charges off of your shore power and your generator. But your air ride box is gonna be over here. I talked about it being fully on board. It's got its own onboard compressor and auto leveling. So it actually is on right now. You don't have to do anything. All you gotta worry about is on and off and raise and lower. So we do recommend when you guys are parked, I mean, if you guys are gonna pull off to get fuel, eat some lunch, stop for a couple hours, your horses are on the trailer, just leave the air ride on. Don't worry about it. If you're gonna stop, maybe just for a day-long gymkhana, horse show, rodeo, anything like that, trail ride, whatever it is, all you guys have to do is turn it off and turn it to lower, and that's it. It can sit all day like that just fine. It will somewhat push the air out of the system. It will not fully purge it. So if you are gonna stop overnight for long periods of time, we do recommend the off, the lower, and then pulling this. You're just gonna pull this cord straight towards you. It's gonna push all the rest of the air out of this system. So when you do turn it off, turn it lower, and pull that towards you until the air is all gone, that's just gonna make sure we don't get any condensation and some water built up in those lines. Definitely don't want water in our air lines, but if something were to happen, you forgot for a couple days, you remembered, ran out there, pulled that line, and some water was spitting out at you, it's not something to be concerned about. It's just that system, again, purging itself. We went through a lot today. If you guys have any questions, we can run through all of these spec sheets together. I'm glad to take additional pictures or videos for you guys. This trailer is still available, just arrived last week. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to help you guys out. My contact info is on your screen as well as on my clipboard. My phone number is 303-918-6367. You guys can call or text that. You can email as well at michaela.hall@transwest.com. If you want to ask about this specific trailer, reference this stock number. It's 5N241468. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next week.